everybody? This is Current Cinema Podcast. We are back. Oh my God, dude. It has been so long since Kyle and I did this, like long, and we look so different from our last episode. This is Current Cinema episode 15. We are talking about The Killer, directed by David Fincher, scored by our podcast favorites, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, and starring Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender, yeah.
My name is Jeff, joined by Kyle.
Hi.
As always, your reliable hosts for the Current Cinema Podcast. And we're just going to mainly talk about The Killer and then just one other movie that we watched. Just kind of trying to keep it short while we play catch up for the year. Not that there's much more to catch up on after this.
There really isn't. Yeah. What a year to start a movie podcast when the whole industry is falling apart.
Yeah. I'm glad the strikes are over.
It seems like everybody got what they wanted. Netflix seems to be just canceling everything because they're not happy with how much they have to pay people now. But that's okay.
Exactly.
I think we all saw that on the wall. Yeah.
We'll get that stuff somewhere else. Yeah. Same thing with Max too. Like, there's that whole. Have you heard about that movie? It's like a. I don't mean to do headlines here, but like the John Cena movie involving Wile E. Coyote.
The Acme Coyote Roadrunner movie.
I heard that movie was so good that it was like on par with Roger Rabbit, like that good. Like it tested through the roof.
What?
At screenings, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do this tax write-off."
We're writing it off. Yeah.
And the backlash was so strong that Warner Brothers is like, "Fine, you can shop the movie around to wherever. Like you can shop it around."
I didn't realize that got reverted. Okay, we might get to see this movie. Watch it come out, and we're like, "This is not as good."
What the hell? This tested positively? Yeah,
this should have gotten tax write-off.
Apparently it does have that many cameos in it, like Roger Rabbit, where it's like, how did you get these characters in one movie?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit's awesome. That movie rocks.
I love it.
Such a great movie.
It sounds like the movie is like everything that the Space Jam sequel tried to be and failed at miserably. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that movie became a meme because there were so many cameos in it that made no sense at all.
I also heard it was like a giant commercial. Like it was a commercial for like 17,000 different items.
Yeah. It's just franchise the movie. It's so dumb. It's like everything people criticize Ready Player One for, but I disagree with them on. And
no, people are wrong about that one. That movie's good. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Movie's good.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're just going to start things off with The Killer, the new David Fincher joint, and I think that's how it says it on the screen too. Very professional.
Yeah.
It says the joint, and I'm like, I didn't know David Fincher started classifying his movies as joints now.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It seems very Tarantino-esque, where it's like, this is a Quentin Tarantino joint,
Yeah.
It seems like something he would do more than Fincher. But
yeah, exactly. This is apparently based on a French graphic novel series. I thought it was a book, because of just the way it was narrated and stuff. But
yeah,
I guess that kind of makes sense with how there's a lot of inner monologue going on, especially at the beginning of the movie, where he's explaining, man, they really slow down the movie right.
That is 30 minutes, that hotel sequence. That's
really?
That's like a fourth of the movie. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Because I looked down at my watch after he like was getting on the plane. I look down and I go, oh. Because movies move so quickly and they want to change so quickly. Like it feels like we don't get those like long sequences anymore. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they still happen, as I'm saying it out loud, but like there's a ring of falseness to it. But like this movie plays with that idea of like, hey, we're just gonna let this breathe,
Right.
And I like that sequence where it's like it's introducing the idea of his inner monologue. It's you're in the day of, this is his day, he's talking about he calls his outfit his camouflage. Camouflage.
Yeah.
He
said he deliberately looks like a German tourist.
Yeah, because German tourists are unlikable.
Yes,
so people are less likely to talk to a German tourist. Yeah. And again, you're just getting like his like philosophy of why he chose this life path of being a professional hitman.
There's a living in the now type of mentality, like mindfulness, to what he was talking about that I have been trying to varying degrees of success, model my own, at least my own thought process to from moment to moment, where he's talking about how like fragile life is and how when you die there's nothing and blah blah blah, all that stuff. He's talking about existentialism to a point where I'm like, how did this get in the movie? Like it feels like an accident that it slipped into the movie almost. But because obviously at the end of the day it's a thriller movie. But the beginning, it's just such a bold choice. Whether it's in the script or whether it was David Fincher's editing choice, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a bold choice to start the movie on such a slow burn.
Yeah.
Because then it makes the last, whatever, 3/4 of the movie just speed by, and it's so suspenseful the rest of the movie. Like, so incredibly suspenseful.
Yeah. Once he starts his hunt, like it's pretty quick, fast paced. Yeah.
So good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did love all that inner monologue stuff. It felt very like Dexter, but less annoying. I'm a hard
sell on monologue stuff. Like it's usually a hard thing to pull off in a movie. This was necessary. Like it's Absolutely. Like again, it felt like the kind of stuff he would be. Saying affirmations or something like that to him. It's like, hey, I remember what your objective is. Don't deviate. It's like it's almost like he's recited this exact thing to himself 1,000 times before. It felt like his own.
And there's also a massive absence of music in the first half hour too, until something actually like. It's basically the moments that you feel like something is going to happen. That's when the score comes in. So because nothing really is happening in the first 30 minutes, Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor's score is kind of in the background, like not either non-existent or ambient, inconsequential. But like obviously later on in the movie, it gets to be more pronounced, especially during like when he's hunting down like that taxi driver guy first. He starts going on the hunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very noticeable. Like you notice how Fincher's clearly trying to illustrate how freaking boring it can be to be on a
there's a lot of downtime. Yeah. And like he even reminds himself where it's like, this job is actually more boring than it is exciting, right. Like, and he's really nailing that kind of home, that it's like in the quiet moments that you cause trouble for yourself. Yep. And it's pretty interesting that the movie could be carried by a pretty monotone, like Fassbender, like affirmation dialogue, monologue type of situation. Yeah. But I thought it was really gripping, and I thought all the stuff that he was saying was interesting. And
if people are willing to just kind of go along with it for the first half hour, they're going to be rewarded in the rest of it.
Yeah. It's him talking about lacking empathy. Like, this is a bad dude. Like, he's not a... he's not an altruistic, there are moments where he showcases like shreds of humanity, but it's like only in moments that like won't detract him, from his mission or whatever. So, this is not a good dude. You know what I mean? Like the movie kind of kicks off because his like girlfriend gets kind of attacked because of a botch job, if you will. And like, I'm not even convinced that he likes his girlfriend. I think that like his girlfriend is like part of his, alibi or whatever, like the way that he talks about lacking empathy and not needing people, not trusting anybody, yada, yada, like, you don't really know which parts of his life are real, and you never get his real name. That's another thing. He's always using aliases and stuff like that.
I don't think you get anybody's real name except for I think it's his girlfriend. Yeah.
Or
the administrator and his girlfriend and girlfriend's brother, Leo, the taxi driver.
Yeah. Well,
but everybody that's in the network, his network of killers, basically, they don't have a name.
Right. Which is cool. Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on there too. And I just really liked like the way that a problem or a situation will be put in front of him, and the way that he dismantles that problem or finds a solution to it, and you see step by step. He's like, this security device uses this type of near field communication device. I'm just gonna go buy that on Amazon.
Yeah.
And like
he's literally takes a picture of it.
I'll figure out how to get in, like, in the most rudimentary way. And like, I come from security. All that shit's real. You can do all that stuff. It is not hard to like bypass.
I had a feeling Fincher was leaning into accuracy on that stuff. Feeling. He bought like a key fob maker or whatever.
All you're doing is replicating signals and stuff like that. So it's super easy. Yeah. So it's like the fact that like it's just interesting and watching him do that, or like how you'll see him collecting things for his next mission. Like, oh, what's he gonna do with that trash can? Oh, he's got a nail gun. Like, and it's just like, and the way that like he's kind of narrating, and you see how he's going to break into somewhere or get into somewhere, but you don't realize that's what's going on until like it's go time, and like he's making his way into a building or something. You're like, okay, this is cool. I see it. This is all paying off in some kind of interesting way. So
especially the well, I mean, we can dedicate a whole hour to that Brute chapter, but like I didn't realize how much he was considering the dog before he went into the house.
Yeah, there's a lot of
and all the stuff that he was buying. Like, I was like, how's he gonna deal with the dog? And then like, oh, okay, like, then to see him, it's like kind of like you're saying, you see him buy all this stuff, and you're like, what are you doing? And then to see him actually put it to use, because that's where I appreciate that they didn't put an internal monologue, is like him piecing together his own plan. I don't need to hear him explain
the movie
it,
is not explaining itself at you with its dialogue and monologue. That stuff is literally just mind space stuff. Like you're hearing him like just kind of remind himself, stay on task, yada yada,
And I also another recurring thing I love in the movie is like his heart rate situation, where he's not that he has a heart condition or anything, but he's constantly at the beginning of the movie he emphasizes more than once that you have to have a low heart rate to do what he needs to do, because if you are too excited, there's room for errors basically. And I think that the Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor in the score, I think that's how they crafted the score, is like through, not that they were completely emulating heartbeats, but there was something pertaining to the pace of the score and stuff, and like how it would pick up its beats per minute and stuff, like or measure that. I think it was related to like the stressful situations that he would find himself in, and his heart rate potentially being higher and stuff like that. Like it would kind of like mirror what he was.
And as his heart rate got higher throughout the movie, he did start making bolder decisions, like that. Like walking in on somebody like while they're dining. I don't want to go into too many specifics or whatever. Like that happens after you see him like his heart rate spike. So it's like, I'm not saying it was a bad decision or anything like that, but it's a decision that deviates like from his MO.
Normally he would wait. He would wait and be like, I'm going to go home.
Safe. I'm going to go safe. Yeah. Fight the battles that you're paid for,
Yeah, exactly.
All that good stuff.
But it's almost like he's like tired and he wants to be done with the job.
I know. Yeah.
Even though it's not a job.
After fighting a big brute guy, like who wouldn't be tired? Yeah. What a sequence that was. Jesus Christ. God. Yeah. We just got John Wick this year, and like it's really hard to, usurp something like that, but like there's a weightiness to this fight.
Yeah.
Like it's not like two guys doing ballerina choreography. It's not Flashpoint, which we talked about last week. Like this is how a fight would go down. You know what I mean? Like and the amount, like there's times where like this big guy's like punches like holes in, like you could just feel everything, and every time like Fassbender gets punched, like it lays him out because like this guy's like got 300 pounds on him.
And you have the sound system to kind of replicate a theatrical experience to where like you can feel those thuds, and they are loud and they hit hard. The sound design
was really good in that fight sequence, and it felt realistic and weighty, and I don't know, there was something to it that made it stand out in a year of like wonderful action movies. So
yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, that felt like an impossible task to measure up to, and I didn't expect it in a Fincher movie, no less. Because
no, I didn't either.
For his work, but it's just like, even Fight Club isn't known for its action sequences.
No, there's like, not a single sequence in Fight Club where I'm like, the choreography.
The movie's literally about fighting. It's crazy. But yeah, this movie has got like, it's just that one sequence, but it's just the fact that it goes on for so long. It's like you really start.
I'm so tired. By the time it's done, I'm tired. I'm like,
I'm so exhausted. And then the freaking dog, and it's like a exclamation point on the whole thing. Where of course the dog suddenly gets alerted.
Yeah.
Or in a space of alertness, I should say. That freaking dog, dude, that stressed me the hell out. But I love that sequence, and I love when he visits the lawyer's office too, who is kind of like he's not the head of the network, I don't think. I think there's somebody above him, but he is definitely like a very,
he's the handler for this guy.
Exactly. And it feels like he's definitely a big enough of a figurehead for that region of contract killers that being approached is a big deal. Like it did feel like a big deal.
And it's hard not to go into specifics about why I like that scene so much, but
I love that it was played by the guy from Top Gun Maverick.
I like that too, but I like that he thought that he had a handle on the situation the entire time. that and I don't want to go into it too much
I love
more,
that.
But like
goes,
I did.
Yeah, when he said
he was so cool about like everything. It's all right. We're gonna get through. You got
like 90 seconds. And
like,
oh shit.
It's
so good.
It's the moment he realizes maybe things aren't going to go his way, like it's the acting, the paradigm shift in that scene is really good. Yeah,
it's that's like an unintentional. Well, no, it's not necessarily played for laughs. It's kind of like a macabre joke, like what goes wrong, and then he has to find another solution.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. You're gonna drown. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a
It's
lot.
like you got a few seconds to tell me what I need to know.
It's so funny because like they pitch it that Fassbender has never had a failure in his whole career, and like this
I would have
movie
liked to have seen a couple of those.
Yeah,
Couple montagey
it's
things.
funny to watch him have multiple, like he has multiple misjudgments in this movie, and it's all new for him.
Yeah,
and that's one of my favorite jokes in the movie is like where he's getting away, from his first failure, and he's like, "This is new."
yeah.
Like it's just a throwaway quick line or whatever, but like, and he's talking himself calmly of how to get through it or whatever,
Yeah, I loved how casual he was being about. This is at the beginning of the movie. I guess half an hour into the movie, where he's like kind of walking away from the scene and he's kind of like dismantling everything he has and throwing it in various trash cans. And then there's like that scene where he's on like a moped or scooter or something, and it's like a car chase, but there's nobody really chasing him. He's just trying to evade.
It kind of reminded me of Drive. You know what I mean? Where like he's doing so well, staying ahead of the cops, like it's barely a chase. And I think it's the first. It's
just like that. It's just like that opening sequence in Drive. With those guys that are at he times leaving with the sports game, and like he's just quiet and just driving, and the guys are panicking in the back, like we just robbed a bank. How are we gonna survive? But he's just like quiet and just knows exactly where to stop, and then in a dark alley or whatever. It's just like that. It's so just like that. And each time you're like, he turns a corner, you see a light, and you're like, oh, this is it. He's gonna be caught.
Yeah. No, he's just one step ahead though. Yeah. Even though again, like he's never had to experience like getting out of a hot situation. Like the guy's a professional. Like he has the equipment. He has the tools, if you will, to get out of it. So.
Yeah, this movie's incredible. Easily one of my favorites of the year.
Same. Yeah. I like it. Yeah. I feel like I've had a couple people be like, yeah, it's a slow burn. And I go, yeah, but you're saying it weird.
You're saying, why do you sound, why does your voice sound that way?
No, it is a slow burn. That's what it is. And that's okay. And it's good. But you're saying it like, all slow burns are bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know if I agree with that, but
I think this Killers of a Flower Moon is not.
Don't go watch. Hey, you don't like any Scorsese movie if you don't like slow burns.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe you like Shutter Island, which is arguably his worst movie, but whatever.
I know so many people that love that movie, and
me too. Yeah,
I love that because it was such a big swing, and I'm like, it felt like other movies. That's why it wasn't.
It felt like other movies, and I predicted the ending of that movie in the very first act of that movie, and just to make sure it wasn't like just like something that I was blowing smoke at my ass about, I've shown that movie to multiple people, and all of them got the twist in the first act before it actually happened. Like, what? So he's crazy or something? I'm like, yeah. You got it, dude. Yeah, we're not even 30 minutes into the movie yet, and you got it. That movie sucks. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, everybody who likes that movie. You're a simple person if you like that movie.
I don't know that it. I'm not on the it sucks camp. It's just not my favorite because I think there is a discussion to be had about how much was his craziness a condition of his surroundings and how like did they actually frame him to be crazy by the end of it? Like did they actually like succeed in treating him to stop pursuing his case and make him suddenly a patient because of whatever they were drip feeding him drugs or something? I don't know. I don't know. So I mean, easy answer is for sure he's just crazy, and that's it. That's the twist.
Yeah. For a movie I don't like, I've seen it many times because I've wanted to get validated about why I don't like it.
Yeah, I saw it. The first time I watched it, I had that take, and then the second time I was like, is he crazy though, or did they just gaslight the shit out of him?
Maybe. I guess I don't think the movie dives into that enough to.
No, it doesn't. You're right. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no ending shot in the movie that is suddenly like, oh, maybe he isn't crazy. Like, there's nothing that alludes to it at the end. So, yeah, there's really...
Yeah, no, it kind of just fizzles out where it's like, yeah, he's crazy. And I'm like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Great performances in that movie, though, for sure.
Yeah, there's never... any of those guys going to show up and not perform?
But for sure, that's definitely like a Scorsese movie that's like literally 2 hours, maybe.
If you told me that he, like, produced that movie, I would have been like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's somebody else directed it. Yeah. Yeah, because everything else after that feels like movies with a message. Like Wolf of Wall Street was his movie after that, and then everything else has been a big swing after that. Silence and The Irishman and now Killers of the Flower Moon, which is one of the best movies of the year. I even like, speaking of killers, I would put The Killer above Killers of a Flower Moon, which I don't say lightly, but it's just like, what movie am I going to rewatch a lot, and which one did I take the most enjoyment from, even though there's like a lot of disturbing elements to both movies? It's The Killer. Like, I'm going to watch this movie over and over again, probably. Whereas Killers of a Flower Moon, 3.5-hour movie, I'm going to probably take a 10-year break before I watch it again, you know? It's a great movie, though. It's really great.
Yeah, that's how I felt about The Irishman. I know a lot of people have big opinions about that movie, but I was like, I like that movie. And they're like, well, yeah, have you watched it again? I go, no. It's like 10 hours long. No, I haven't watched it again. Well, I guess you don't like it then. I'm like, that's not how I grade movies.
Exactly.
I don't grade them on their rewatchability. I think some movies are meant to just be seen maybe a couple times or just once in your entire life, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like the Schindler's List effect, I guess. That's what I would call it, because in my age, that would be an appropriate comparison. For people older than me, that would be like, trying to think of like an 80s movie that would be that disturbing that you would never want to watch again. I don't know.
Lolita. I don't know.
Lolita. Yeah, I guess. Lord. Clockwork Orange.
Clockwork Orange. I have seen that movie quite a few times. Though, so.
Me too. And every time I'm like, why did I subject myself to this again? But I love that movie. It's one of my favorites of all time, for sure.
It's good. Yeah.
But yeah, Irishman is a lot. Anyway, The Killer's not a lot. That's what we're trying to say.
It's not. It's not a lot. It's a 2-hour movie. Yeah, it's a slow burn, but you're not sitting there for 3 hours long. You know, like it goes by, and like
it's almost
it does
like
pick up
he gets
in the
the
later
slow
parts.
thing. He's like, let's just get the slow burn, you know, quote unquote masturbatory stuff out of the way in the first 30 minutes.
Well, and again, like, and it's parallel. It's parallel to what that job is. A lot of sitting and waiting and planning and pontificating and not getting lost in the moment and staying on task and keeping the brain sharp and yada yada, and that stuff is slow, you know, like that's you know.
I love the ending shot too. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's like an ending shot that's kind of like, I don't know, certainly psychologically important. It's not like it's alluding to a sequel or anything, but it's certainly psychologically important to the character that we've been following the whole movie. But yeah, I like that ending shot. David Fincher just knows how to end them, dude. He just does.
I kind of like that ending trade-off where like he finally gets to where he wants to be. Oh man, I can't talk about that without spoiling it or whatever. But like there's no way to talk about that. Never mind.
Yeah,
but, like,
exactly.
I do like that last trade-off where he's just like, this is so not worth my time. You know, like, you know, basically, which I do like that a lot too. So
it's such a great movie, dude. I'm actually somewhat eager to rewatch it, but I do like maintaining some distance before a rewatch of the movie like this, because I want it to feel like a fresh watch. Maybe a few months from now I'll be like, oh, I should watch that movie again.
Put some time. Every time you watch a movie again, you're a new person. So
pretty much.
The longer you put between those watches, the newer of a person you are.
Even through this year, you know, rating like things like my favorite movies of the year, it changes so much, because 6 months ago I would say I've had somewhat significant shifts in how I view things philosophically and stuff like that. Like,
and that's what I mean. Yeah, you're showing up. You're showing up to a repeat movie with new values. Every single time, you know, and maybe those values without a rewatch even depreciate over the course of a year. Where you're like, that was my number one for a while, but like, I don't know, I'm kind of going through some stuff now. Now this is my number one, you know, like things like that.
Yeah, totally. All right, so to wrap up the show, it's another short one this week, folks. We're going to just talk about another movie that we rewatched, each of us individually. I brought a movie, Kyle brought a movie. This can be something old, something you rewatched, or I'm going to pick something from this year that I watched that's like kind of old, I guess. Like, it didn't just come out. I'll go for this time, since I threw it to you last time. I'll talk about... This is really tough. I'll just talk about a movie that I really love. It ended up in my 10 this year, and I was very surprised at this. But just a heads up for anybody that doesn't love courtroom drama, it's a courtroom drama.
Okay, I'll let you talk, and I'll be back.
Okay.
No, I actually like this. Yeah, I don't know.
This one is straight up like an adaptation of a stage play, and so most of it takes place during the trial, and it's a military hearing. So it's like a jury, a panel of like 6 generals or whatever in the Navy, and the name of the movie is called I just closed the document, and I really shouldn't have done that. Whatever, it's in my 10. I'll just look at my top 10.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, there we go.
There it is. Hey.
Okay, the Kane Mutiny court-martial. So the story is a naval officer basically took over command of a ship's vessel. This is the setup, at least for the movie. And the captain is played by Kiefer Sutherland, and he was the commander of the vessel, I guess. Captain, commander, whatever the rank is. And so he took it. It was like during a storm where like they had the choice to steer into the storm and avoid catastrophic damage, or to turn away and maybe get torn apart. Their vessel could get torn apart because that's how late they were to the game of anticipating the storm. And because the captain was choosing what everybody views as the wrong choice, the officer and a few other people, took over the vessel and said, we're turning the ship, we're turning into the storm right now. So that's the setup for the trial. It's a mutiny, obviously. That's in the title. But it's everybody's just giving testimonies. That's really the whole movie. But the dialogue is so like sharp. It's basically Sorkin-esque in how sharp it is, that you're constantly like at the edge of your seat, like, and it makes you pay attention to micro choices that the actors make in their performances. Like Kiefer Sutherland is kind of like a neurotic and OCD type of captain. But in his first testimony, because he's like the first testimony in the whole movie, you're kind of like, he seems like a normal guy with his head on his shoulders. And then you get the other testimonies from people that are like the guy that's on trial for mutiny and his shipmates and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, this Kiefer Sutherland sounds like a real dick. Like, he sounds like awful. No wonder they turned on him. And so then he comes back for another testimony to kind of answer to those things that he's accused of. And you start to see cracks, basically. And it's all in like the shifts in his facial expressions and his hand movements. Mm-hmm. Like, so the dialogue kind of forces you to like, it's like edge of your seat type stuff, but it's just dialogue. Like, it's an action movie, but just in the dialogue, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a good like hour and a half, 2 hours. I think it's on Showtime, but if you have Paramount Plus, you could subscribe to Showtime for like a cheaper rate, I think.
Yeah.
And then those movies become available on Paramount Plus. So it's through that I watched it when I had Paramount Plus, and it's just freaking excellent, dude. Kiefer Sutherland's not the only one in here. You got Jason Clarke from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. He's like one of the lawyers doing questioning, and he's very good. This is one of Lance Reddick's final roles. He plays one of the he's like the head judge of the committee of generals or whatever that are hearing this case. Mm-hmm. So he's the one he's the main one asking questions, follow-up questions. And I think this might be his last role, period. Which is very sad to see, but it's such a good role, dude.
Nice.
And it's also William Friedkin's final movie, because he passed away like this year or last year. Director of The Exorcist and French Connection.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's got kind of a pedigree to it, and you'll recognize some other faces like Louis Pullman, Bill Pullman's kid. Jake Lacey is like the guy that's accused. You'll recognize his face. Jay Duplass is additional. Why does it say additional directing Guillermo del Toro? I wonder if it's because Friedkin didn't finish it and people had to step in.
That's probably. Yeah. That sounds something like.
But yeah, that dude has a legacy, man. So I felt like, I have to watch this.
Right.
Yeah, and no regrets. I was very surprised. It's one of those movies that you go in to go, let's just watch this. Let's just watch this to get a tally for the year,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, holy shit. Like, that was
good.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I really didn't want it to end. And the ending's really great, too. It makes you think. Recommend that movie big time, for sure. Nice. What's a movie that you saw?
You sound like you chose a smart one, so I went opposite. And as of this time, this is relevant. 2 weeks from now when this airs, it's not going to be relevant, but that's okay. Because of Life Day, Jeff, I watched the Star Wars Holiday Special because I do it every year.
Oh my gosh.
This is 2.5 hours of nonsense.
Dude, I thought it was 90 minutes. It's seriously 2.5 hours?
It's like 2 hours and some change, I think.
Oh my God.
This is 30 minutes of this movie are Wookiees talking to each other with no subtitles, and that's like the first 30 minutes of this movie. It's just like, and then someone else is going, and like there's no content. You have no idea what's going on. This is so one of my favorite movies to like pick your poison, come in, drink a beer, smoke your joint or whatever, and sit down and watch this like fever dream of a movie. If you can, bring some unexpected soul into it who's never seen it before, so you can kind of ruin their life.
I've never seen it still. I need to watch it.
It's the best. Get some cocaine and watch it, Jeff. You'll understand the 80s in a way that you never thought you would.
You know what's really funny? I have to throw this out there because I looked up who directed it, and it wasn't George Lucas.
No, he had.
Of course.
He wants nothing to do
it was the same guy who directed the Elvis comeback special from like the late 60s. When he's in the black leather suit and like very famous special. That's so crazy to go from that and like get Elvis back on the map.
It makes sense now though, because there's a lot of forced musical segments that don't make any sense at all.
That tracks then. Yeah.
So this is all making a little more sense. You wanted something. Also, a good reason to bring this up is that there's a really big documentary coming out about how crazy this movie is and the making of it.
That's what that's about, the disturbance in the force.
It's about this holiday special. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And specifically, just how unhinged and weird and
okay, because I saw a trailer pop up in my feed, but I haven't watched it yet. So
Apparently, it made really good rounds in South by Southwest and a couple.
I heard that.
It got a really good reception. I think it's going to be in theaters or something of that nature soonish, like sometime this year. So
I'll check IMDb. Also, but they got a great cast for it, like interview subjects like Seth Green, Kevin Smith, Weird Al, like all these people that are like Donny Osmond. Why?
I'm here for it. It's gonna be really good. So I feel like this is not just a jokey bring up. Hey, it's Kyle bringing up Star Wars. I feel like it's a good time to watch this movie if you've never have, everybody. So you can get ready for this documentary that's supposed to be really, really good. So
this is gonna be this is very relevant because I'm seeing that it comes out on Blu-ray. It's just physical media basically, and I assume at that point you can buy it digitally. But on December 5th, that'll be around the time this drops.
It will be available, by the time this is coming out then, or around the time. So we really got your way to watch it because I hear a lot of really good things about it, and I feel like if any way we can get more information of why this was the way that it was,
right?
We should know this stuff,
right.
My favorite joke ever is that the Luke Skywalker from this holiday special, which was Mark Hamill, looks less like Luke Skywalker than the CG Luke Skywalker in like current Star Wars. So it is a fever dream. It's weird. I don't know how they talk Harrison Ford in this. They must have paid him in drugs or something.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everybody's back.
Everybody back then, like the key players in Star Wars. Maybe not Mark Hamill. He was kind of a rube, but Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher were on drugs like the entire time they were shooting those movies. So
absolutely, and again, like you're never gonna know what's going on. Like it'll just like shift to like now we're gonna watch a TV show within this universe, and it'll just like shift to a cooking show, and it doesn't make any sense. Like you're not leaving with anything after watching this. Other than as long as you surrender the experience, like you're gonna laugh, maybe not for the reasons that it was intended to, but like you're gonna laugh. There's also a scene where literally one of the Wookiees sit down and put a VR headset on and is basically watching like porn, like via this headset.
Oh my god, I've seen this,
and it's basically what it is, and like it's.
But because there's no subtitles, you kind of have to figure that out. Is that what it is?
Right. And it's just bizarre, man. It's so great. You gotta watch it. You can watch it on YouTube like for free. So its entirety. So
no way in hell Disney Plus is gonna put that out there.
No, this is a lost to time piece of like thing that like George and everyone wants to die so bad, but like we won't forget it. This is where we got Boba Fett too.
Yep, found it. It's 7 years ago it was published and it's still up on YouTube.
That's the one. That's the one I watched. That's the one. Yeah. How long? What's its runtime?
It says a little over 90 minutes actually.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I had 2 hours in my head, but it feels like 8 hours for sure. Just because it's nonsense. It's give it a watch, strictly so you can do your homework for the documentary.
Yeah, because otherwise I'm listening to them talk about it. Sounds like, and I'll be the whole time watching it going, this can't be real. And
yeah, exactly.
It is. It's real. It's totally real. It happened that way.
People on a bunch of cocaine made this happen.
Yeah,
and that's just the facts.
Okay, I gotta watch it, and then like the day that Blu-ray comes out, hopefully it comes out like Prime or something. I can just buy it.
Should. I imagine it'll get distributed some other.
God, I hope so. Physical. If I need to just buy the Blu-ray, that's fine. It'll ship to me 2 days.
I'll totally legally download it. It'll be fine.
I know what you're talking about. We always download things legally. You don't even need to add a disclaimer. It's always legal.
It's always legal
all the time.
Always.
But yeah, I'm totally just gonna back to back it and just be like, just do my homework that way because I can't believe I still haven't watched it.
Dude, I can't believe anybody's seen it, to be honest. So
true. Imagine all the people that were like diehard because this came out in '78. All the diehard. It wasn't
even the '80s. It was the '70s. It was like
it was the '70s. Literally after the first movie, right after the first movie.
Yep.
All these people that were like diehard fans of the first Star Wars movie watching this and being like, I don't know about this franchise, guys. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
this have wheels.
I know. And George Lucas is like, they killed my thing before it even got off the ground. Yeah.
It aired in prime time on fucking CBS, one of the 3 channels at the time. Oh my God.
I think it aired once too.
Yeah.
Like, so like that version you're seeing on YouTube is somebody's like VHS like
copy
taping.
Of a copy.
Yeah, a copy of a copy, exactly. Yeah. Like there's no hard copy. I could be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. It only aired one time, and like
it's very I'm very grateful that people like this exist that shared it because it's kind of like those Doctor Who episodes that once they aired in the 70s, it was just like, well, those are gone forever.
Yeah.
But you have these collectors that are out there that did tape it and they still have the tapes, but they're like, if I share these, will it like, I don't know, will these like get lost or like, I just don't understand their argument for not sharing them at this point.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like,
you're a historian, share the history.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you want it to die with
you. Have secret documents,
Pretty much.
Give it to us.
Pretty much.
Give it to us,
whatever. It's fine. But I'm excited to check that out. And I think that's all we got for this episode. We're just doing the shorter ones to try to keep the pace, basically. But we'll definitely be back with I think
once things start coming out more normally.
Yeah,
I think that like it was weird to try and navigate like movies while like movies kind of weren't happening.
That and not just that, but like the movies that were coming out, and we're in the time of the year where awards movies should be coming out. Mm-hmm. I'm just struggling to get motivated to go to the theater. It's a real struggle for me.
Same, yeah. You and I have talked about that a lot in chat, where it's just like, dude, my want to like go to the theater right now is like just at an all-time
and
low.
it's not even because I like you had more negative experience than I did with the social aspect of people in the theaters, strangers being dicks, basically. I don't really have that so much, but and it's not even a money thing for me either, because I normally just I get discounts because of the membership I have, and a free ticket every now and then. So like I'm not even concerned about that. I just don't. Everything's just so comfortable at home. I'm just so
comfy. Yeah.
So comfy. My PJs.
Yeah. My jams.
My jams. But like there are tentpole movies that I'm bothering to go out. Like Napoleon is as of the time of this recording still coming out next week. On Tuesday, I think, because of the holiday. They're going to capitalize on the 5-day weekend. And I am just so over the moon hyped for that I got a ticket.
For this guy does good history movies, man.
He really does. And I've already heard like, well, there's some historical inaccuracies. I'm like, there always are in Ridley Scott.
There always are, like, guys.
He always takes liberties. Obviously, it's Joaquin Phoenix in an American accent.
Spoilers, over time, the big thing in the movie where like he kills everybody using the frozen lake, like when people broke through the ice, like it went up to their knees. Like it's through time, like we've totally twisted that like story around, and
that's so funny. It's just like a small like
it is known. It's like he used a frozen lake to like kill a whole army, and it's like he slowed him down a little bit using a frozen lake. They were
inconvenienced, and he still had to cannon them to death. But you know.
But I don't care. Like I don't show up to Braveheart going, well, this is like that whole movie is fantasy. Braveheart, none of that happens. So,
all of Scotland is like, you got to be kidding me with this.
Yeah.
But I'm still hyped for it. Like, but that's just an example of movies that like, and I'm sure there's more coming out in like December, especially like for me, I'm an award bait sucker. But even those are like getting more and more difficult for me to go out because I just know, maybe in a couple weeks it'll be on Netflix or
Yeah.
I can download it totally legally. Not that I need to say that because it's always legal.
No, you don't have to disclaim it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course you can't forget Chalamet's Wonka that's coming out.
Chalamet's Wonka, dude. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't know I think people need to be made aware. It should be on like street signs. Like it should be like, this is Smith Street and also Chalamet's Wonka.
Yeah, right. Like every time you open up like a bottle of water and like the cap, you turn it over.
Chalamet's
Wonka.
Yeah. New Snapple facts.
Yeah.
And then of course we can't forget the movie that you and I are most anticipating. Rebel Moon is coming out to Netflix.
I don't know where you were going with that, and then you delivered it, and I was like, oh, it's a bit. Okay.
It's a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have any movie that like I'm most anticipating the rest of the year. Oh yeah, Rebel Moon. Which you and I should watch and just dedicate a whole episode to what I'm assuming is going to be shitting on that movie.
Yes. Yeah.
But I have gone on record to say this is very much my type of sci-fi. I just wish I liked the guy who was
same here
playing in this world.
It's gonna be the most derivative movie we've ever seen in our lives, probably.
Oh, it's gonna be so
because it was written in universe of Star Wars, so every name is gonna be like off center to what Star Wars is.
Yeah. I got my laser sword here. Shut up. God damn it.
I'm Tatooine. Different name.
Yeah,
I put a syllable in there.
Batooine, they just changed one word,
So dumb. I can't wait. But yeah, that's probably the next time we'll regroup for another episode at this rate, because it's not just that, but like current gen that's our priority, and gaming is just stupid this year. Like, I mean, if I'm not watching a movie, and usually I'm not at this point in the year, I'm gaming because there's just so much to pick from.
I know all the games that I've missed are on sale now, so I'm about to go scoop up all those and cruise through.
That's the reason I got
cruise through Warhammer. And
that's the reason I got like a game like Street Fighter 6 is like, well, it's on sale now. So I mean, even Mortal Kombat 1 is on sale now, not for a great price, but I mean, it's still on sale. So it's like I gotta go back. I have to go back.
Gotta go back.
But we're gonna try. We're gonna come back for a Rebel Moon shit fest and.
Or love that. We may love it.
Great.
Jeff.
Then we'll admit it.
We might love it.
Yeah. We'll
I
totally
doubt
admit
it. But I want to leave room.
But we'll definitely come back for a end of year type of whether top 10 or whatever.
I would like to do a shared top 10. I think that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Actually, the way we do it on current gen, that'd be such a blast to figure out how to do that. I don't know how we're gonna. There's. The way Tim puts together his list of games for the Game of the Year talk, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that, dude. But
that's a lot of movies. Yeah.
just send me.
Maybe you could just export your Letterboxd, like watch movies of the year. Like this is the list, guys. Yeah, I'm like, surely that's all the stuff I've seen. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you log all the new movies that came out this year on your Letterboxd, we'll just refer to those diaries, basically. Diaries.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I will be watching The Creator here soon, so I'm sure we'll do an episode about that.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome, and because you're waiting for physical, right?
I'm waiting for physical. Yeah, I could watch it today if I wanted to, but I want to be blown away. And I'm like already convinced myself I'm gonna like that movie. So
man, it's a Kyle ass movie that ever Kyled.
I can't wait to watch a bunch of things I've already seen before, but remix into. That's what everyone said. I already seen these ideas.
You've totally seen it before, but like it's the visuals and like I don't know.
I know execution. Some of the like we've been saying, execution is everything. Like I don't mind a familiar flavor. Are you just never gonna eat chocolate ice cream again? Oh, I've had that flavor before.
Yeah,
I've had that
exactly.
one before. I've had it. I'm not gonna repeat a flavor.
Dude, I actually saw somebody bitch about like they saw Matt Rife's new comedy special on Netflix, and the TikTok person was like, I literally just saw him live, and it was like the same jokes. And I'm like, do you not know how comedy works?
Yeah, that's the set you saw.
Do you not know how stand-up comedy?
You were training. Like, you were training for this. That's how it works. I think we should have to pass like some kind of intelligence test before you're allowed to like
for real, dude.
Interact online.
Like, did you think he was just gonna do crowd work for 90 minutes or something at
an
arena?
We would lose half of our current gen group if that were a rule. So
exactly. Anyway, so stay tuned we'll do more of this, of course, as time permits. As we see movies too, because we still have to make time for that ourselves. Just if you want more of our banter, just current gen it up, man. It's
and if you're listening and you want to see us talk about a movie, I'm happy to go watch a movie if I haven't seen it, so we can talk about it. So it's like if y'all have recommendations, I think Gaston.
That's a great idea.
Told us to, hey, I really wanna here I'll talk about TMNT or whatever. Or even if he indirectly, I don't know how he asked or if he asked or whatever, even if it was indirect or whatever, if you have a direct recommendation, let us know, because like I'll happily rewatch something if I don't remember it, or watch it for the first time if I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's a really fun idea. I like that. Yeah, throw it out there, folks. But yeah, that's all we got for this week, and I'm gonna do a totally normal ending. See, that was a wind up, and I tricked everybody. This is a normal ending.
Yeah.
So see you later.
Yeah, there.